This week's workout is a little bit of a different style. Everything's done mostly, not necessarily in neutral, but there's no rounding of the lower back, the lumbar spine, to activate the deep core. So it's just a different style. I hope you enjoy. We're going to start on all fours and just start with a few breaths. So breathing in through the nose and then exhale out through the mouth. Try to breathe deeply so that you notice the core muscles wrap around your waistline. You don't need to force it, just simply breathing until you're empty will do so. Push down firmly into your hands and start to sit back towards your heels. And then pull yourself forward with your hands. So the key to this is pressing down firmly the whole time. Even when you sit down to the heels, you don't relax, and then you're gonna pull yourself forward with your hands. Do that once more. Start to wake up the muscles in the shoulders. Then reach your right arm to the side. You're gonna push back with the left arm, twist underneath the arm, and then reach back out to the side. So you still have energy flowing through that left arm as you twist the upper body and then reach to the side. Finding a little bit of rotation through your upper spine and the neck. Switching sides, place that hand underneath the armpit, reach left arm to the side, thread the needle, push down firmly into that right hand as you twist, and then reach to the side. Twice more. Last time. Placing the hands underneath the armpits for cat stretch. On your exhale, round your spine. So this is going to round your lower back a bit. If that doesn't serve you, you can keep the lower back neutral and just find undulations through the upper spine. I have clients that aren't able to practice any lumbar flexion or minimal lumbar flexion, but I still like them to do cat stretch if it causes no pain so that they don't create stiffness through their lower back entirely. Now curl your toes under and hover your knees. Lower them back down. So you're bracing in the core to hover your knees, lower them down. So you have the options to lift and lower, or you can simply just hold. Okay, keep going. Exhale as you lift and stay there this time. If you want more of a challenge, all you're going to do is retract the shoulder blades and then protract. So what I mean by that is squeeze your shoulder blades together and then move them far apart, but don't move the rest of your body. And at first this might be tricky. Sit back to your heels and spin the legs around. So come to a laying down position on your back with your knees bent. And then we're just going to do a few arm movements that show you how to connect to a neutral spine while moving your arms. So your arms reach straight up and your ribs are flat as possible. And then just start to scissor the arms. One arm goes back, one arm goes down. And then notice if your ribs move and change their shape. Do you change your posture with this arm movement? Try to keep the spine quiet and still pick up the pace. Then reach both arms up and then bring both arms back. This is even more challenging and it's very subtle. Really pay attention. Do your ribs react when you reach your arms backwards? Keeping the ribs absolutely still, the spine curves unchanged. Now draw circles with your arms. They can be bigger than mine. My Christmas tree is in the way. And then go the other direction. And then notice, do your ribs change with this circle? Rest your hands down, and then open right knee to the side, slide your foot along the mat, turn to parallel and come back up. So you're basically stirring your thigh in your hip socket. You open the knee, you straighten the leg, and pull it back towards your center. About 5 times each side. And you want to feel really loose and easy in the hip here. Kind of letting it spin, pelvis stays absolutely square. And press your hands into the mat. Curl the head, neck, shoulders up, and look at your hip creases. Pull the pubic bone and the hip bones away from your face so the front of the hips are flat and you're not gripping in your hip flexors in order to flex the spine. And then lower the head down. Exhale to curl up. Press your hands down firmly. Send the tailbone away from you. So basically you're trying to keep the natural curve of your lower back here. And then lowering the head back down. So a lot of the abdominal exercises that we do in this session will be kind of like this, trying to keep the hip flexors from gripping. Now hold up, hands behind head. Then you're going to lift your right leg to tabletop and place the foot down. And you can see that I have a little tiny shadow of a space between my lower back and the floor. And I'm trying not to let my pelvis rock side to side as I lift my leg up. So this is excellent to train your core how to contract without gripping in your hip flexors. Okay, and then again, staying quiet through the pelvis. Lower the feet down, lower the head down. So a different version of your hundreds, curl the head, neck, shoulders up and start to pump those arms. You can straighten your legs or keep the knees bent. If straightening your legs causes any tension in your back, you'll just keep them bent and focus again on not letting the creases grip too much or the hip flexors grip too much. If you choose to straighten the legs, squeeze your heels together and press the backs of the heels down into the floor. Okay, so full cycles of breath, breathing in through the nose, exhale out through the mouth. And you'll really feel in this variation how much your arms are challenging your stability. Last cycle of breath, lower the head down, bend the knees, and then you're going to lift your hips up. So typically we would articulate the spine, but for some people this might cause tension. So we're just lifting the pelvis straight up and then straight back down again. Notice the muscles that you feel contracting in the back side of your body. Do you feel your glutes contracting kind of around your back dimples? Or do you feel right where your hamstrings meet your glutes? I've already started. Start to lift your right leg up to tabletop, lowering it down. Left leg lifts tabletop. Or you can keep doing that bridge, lifting and lowering. Okay, making sure that the pelvis doesn't start to gradually lower towards the floor or tilt side to side. Then lower the pelvis back down. Straighten the legs and then turn on to your side. So you're going to have your knees bent. Your bottom arm will be your pillow. You can also cradle the back of your head. And you're going to stack your ankles and your hips. Press the top thigh open and lower it back down. So the theme of this whole sequence is kind of not gripping in your hip flexors and teaching your body how to use your muscles appropriately. So when you do clamshell, you want to make sure that you feel more the back side of your glute contracting. If you place your hand on the back side, it should be forming like a little dimple, a little valley. Press your thigh back and forth, do a small range pulse, and then straighten the whole leg, flex the foot. Then you're going to start to lift and lower the leg up an inch, down an inch. This is where you'll really feel it. Alignment-wise, you want your ankle bone to be in line with the center of your hip, which is in line with the center of your shoulder, which is in line with your earlobe. Do not let your leg creep forward or back from there. Then, after you've done about 8 to 10 of those, we're going to draw a rainbow. You're going to go up and over to the front and back. Tiny, small movements. And you should be feeling this more in the back side of your glute, or the side of your seat, versus like the front side. Again, we're avoiding hip flexors here. Okay, after about 8 sets, you can reverse it and kind of draw a little U or a valley down and under, front and back. As you do this, can you keep the pelvis absolutely quiet and still? Neck relaxed, spine long. Should really start to hopefully create some work. And then I like to do this, hug my knee into chest, release, and then we'll flip immediately over to the other side. So bending the knees, stacking them, lining your ankles up. Press the top thigh open and lower it down. You want to be consistent with how you place your bones, so making sure that your knees are bent and your thigh bones are at the same angle that they were on the first side. After about 8 to 10 full range, we'll do your short range or your pulse. Okay, pressing back and forth. This, you're trying to stay in that zone of where you're between 80% and 100% effort. Lower the leg down, straighten the top leg, hard flex the foot, and lift and lower. Pressing up and lowering down. I have some tutorials on how to do different side seat variations and how to feel them more effectively so they're not in your hip flexors, that they are indeed in the glute med or the side of your seat. Start to draw your little rainbow up and over to the front, so you can refer back to that if you need some assistance here. Okay, about 8 sets, forward and back. Okay, then start to draw that U down and under front and back. Keeping that foot hard flexed, keeping that pelvis still, and then go ahead, hug your knee into your chest, shake it out. All right, so you're gonna come up to a seated position. If you grip in your hip flexors and sitting causes discomfort through your hip flexors or through your back, prop yourself up on something, sit on a chair, anything that makes you feel comfortable through your hips and straight through your spine. Hands behind head as you twist towards the right, and then come back to center. Okay, so you twist to the side for 3, for 2, for 1, and come back center, 3, 2, 1, and center. Feet are hard flexed, and squeeze your knees together. And really, I really advise to take that time to grab that chair, grab that cushion to sit on. Pause the video if it helps you feel this more effectively. Come onto all fours, slide your left end and your right leg back. Lift the arm and leg up and lower them down. Things to watch out for here is when you lift your leg, your lower back doesn't dump. And by dump, I mean change shape. You don't want to sink or pull your tailbone towards your neck. You should be pulling away. Hold up and then do a little tiny pulse. Another thing to notice is you don't want to be leaning onto your supporting side. So your belly button stays right in the middle. Pull your knee in to your elbow and reach out. Can you do this without rounding your spine? Imagine you're balancing 7 cups of coffee along your spine. Don't spill them. About 6 in total. And then sweep to the side and squeeze back in. So your leg and arm are staying at a constant height. They're moving away from your midline and squeezing towards your midline. Okay, still keeping that same balance. Lower the knee, the hands, everything down. So just a cat stretch just to move any static tension, and then other side. Slide arm and leg out first. Lift the arm and leg and lower. Press up, lower down. This is like a nervous system trick. You're just starting to challenge your body without making too many big changes right away. Lift the arm and leg up and hold. Little tiny pulses. Okay, so can you move your arm and leg independent of your spine? Your spine is strong, it doesn't change shape. Bend your knee in and then reach out. Bending in and reach out. About 6 in total. Not moving that spine, not rounding that spine. Hold. Sweep to the side and squeeze back in. Okay, last one. Bring everything down and in. And let's take a cat stretch. Round your spine and lengthen out. Forearm plank. Lower your forearms down onto the mat. Set your shoulders up and step your feet back one at a time. Let's have the feet hip socket distance apart. You're just going to pull yourself forward and push yourself back. Pull forward, push back. So we started your session by pushing down into your hands, right, in that kind of child's pose position. Same concept here. Can you move yourself with your arms? Pull yourself forward with your arms. Push yourself back. Keeping the spine as long as possible, keeping the gaze at your thumbs. Do not look down at your toes. Take in a breath, find a solid plank, and then lower the knees down, child's pose. Keep yourself active here, active in your breathing, active in your mind, active in your body. Then you're gonna lower yourself all the way onto your stomach in whatever fashion suits you. Swan, hands by your armpits, elbows squeezed tight, tailbone between your legs or pubic bone to the mat as you lift your chest and lower back down. So it's really important that you maintain maximum space through your lower back here. So you're constantly almost telling your tail to pull between your legs. And you can't let that turn off. It's like a light switch, it stays on. Push the heart forward and squeeze the elbows to broaden the chest and shoulders, keeping the neck long. Do about 8 of these. And then lift and hold this last one. Take your arms, reach them straight ahead, and then bend your elbows back by your side, maintaining this extension through your back. If you're up too high with your upper body, you're gonna feel this in your lower back. So make sure that you're in this upper mid back region. Reset if you need to. Okay, thinking about reaching forward and pulling back. Last one. Hands go underneath your head, bend your knees. Squeeze your heels together. Press the pubic bone into the mat, lift the thighs, and squeeze the knees together and just hold for a full 10 counts. Count in your head. Can you keep your lower spine as long as possible? You should feel this through the back of the legs, through the inner thighs, through the seat. And again, tuck tail between legs. Squeeze your heels together, lift the thigh bones, and just hold. Keep your upper body relaxed. Keep your core working. And lower back down. One more. This is an incredible exercise for you to stretch out the front of your thighs, but work the opposing muscles. Straighten your legs and push all the way back. It's also a great precursor for variations like single kick, to kind of get that range of motion, get those muscles working. So lay down onto your back and we'll do another ab series. You're gonna curl the head, neck, and shoulders up, and again, check out if your hip flexors are gripping. Lift your right leg to tabletop, straighten it long, and bend it back in. So you'll notice by staying neutral through the lumbar spine, you cannot get as much upper flexion, upper abdominal curl. So you'll just have to monitor how your neck is feeling and make sure that you are moving from segments of your spine, not just your neck. Lower the head, lift the head back up. Other side, left leg lifts. And you're watching with your eyeballs that your pelvis doesn't rock side to side. Your back does not arch or flatten. The pelvis stays absolutely quiet and still. About 6 to 8 on each side. Just make sure you're even. Lower the head, lower the feet, curl up, then come across and pulse 3 times, and then back to center. Across for 3, 2, 1. I had to stop and refilm. So just, keep going, pulsing armpit across. Someone called me during the process of filming, and then I did everything without noticing, and then here I am second time around doing the workout. So it's great. Come to center. Double leg stretch variation. So you're curling head, neck, shoulders up, and you're just going to circle your arms back, side, and around. Okay, still watching with your eyeballs, making sure that your hip flexors don't turn on. Have you flattened your back into the mat? Passively, right? It's okay to do it if it's actively, but passively. Without control, without consent. Lower back down. Now lift your right leg to tabletop and draw little circles with the kneecap on the ceiling. Okay, this can also be a straight leg if you have the length through the back of the hamstring. Go the other direction. Lower the foot, lift the other leg, and knee stirs. Okay, again, trying your best to find freedom in the hip, and then go the other direction. So this is a variation on one leg circle, a precursor to that. And then placing that foot down. Flipping onto your side again and make your body straight like a pencil. So if you look down, you should just be able to see your toes. Make your legs the exact same length, lift your top leg up, bottom leg comes to join it, and both legs go back down. Now we get really seduced by the legs here, so it's really tempting to lift the legs as high as we can. What I want you to pay attention to is your waistline. As you lift your legs up, does your waistline drop in sync? Now start to lift and lower both legs. So can you try to move the legs independent of the rest of your body? Yes, it'll be smaller. Okay, lift and lower back down. So I've moved my hand and you can kind of see that it's pretty quiet. I'm not dropping my waistline. Take your top foot, step it in front of your thigh, grab your ankle, flex the bottom foot, lift it, and then pulse it up and down. And then you're going to draw small circles with that leg. If you cannot grab your ankle, you can rest the top thigh onto a pillow or a yoga block. Go the other direction with the bottom leg, and then lower everything down. Just make sure you get in 8 reps there, each. A pulse, a circle one direction, a circle other direction. Other side, set yourself up like a long line, like a pencil. Lift the top leg, bottom leg, both legs come back down. So again, top leg lifts, bottom leg joins it. Another good thing to consider, and if you have a mirror, that's great, and you can see this, your legs should be the same length this whole time, and then you know that your pelvis is symmetrical. Top leg, bottom leg, both legs go down. Lift and lower both legs. Where should I be feeling this? A little bit of inner thighs, possibly, maybe side of seat, but it's not crazy. Maybe it is, but if it isn't, don't panic. You're doing it right. I find it's really about that balance, that control, that precision that we're looking for in this exercise. Top foot steps above, grab your ankle, pull the leg up, anchor the ball of the foot down, pause and look at my position if you need to. Lift the bottom leg up with the flexed foot, do 8 pulses, and then 8 little circles. Tig is getting comfortable behind me. She's been a good girl this sequence. She hasn't bothered me much. Go the other direction. If it's your first time watching one of my videos, my dog is infamous for joining me in my workout. Her name is Tig. All right, guys, come on up. Plank. Step your feet back one at a time. Leg pull front. So you're going to lift right foot, lower it down. Left foot, shift forward, and shift back. So this is a variation. One foot lifts, other foot lifts, shift forward, and shift back. So you can kind of see there's a theme. You know, we're staying in neutral pelvis a lot, but then lifting our legs or our arms one at a time to challenge its stability, basically. So an excellent workout if you're recovering from any kind of lower back injury or flexion doesn't work for you. Now come onto your knees, reach your arms straight up to the ceiling, and then you're going to lean back, creating this long diagonal line. So you're looking for a stretch through the thighs, but not only that, you're also looking for work through the opposing muscles. So through the glutes, the back of the legs. Press the tops of your feet into the floor. If you have difficulty pointing your feet, you might get some cramps here, so just watch out for that. Leaning back as far as you can, lowering the arms shoulder height, lifting back up with control. Find as much length through your whole spine. Reach the head up to the ceiling. Now, reach your arms forward and then round your upper spine, bringing the head down between your biceps, and then restack. Hold it for a second, tuck your tail between your legs a little more, and then roll back up. Okay, so always thinking about the opposing. As I round my upper spine, my tail goes between my legs, so I'm creating as much length through the back side of my spine as possible. Restack, turn yourself around, place your hands down. This is a good long back stretch variation, or triceps on a Wunda chair. So you're just going to begin by bending your elbows and straightening them, just to see if your shoulders are okay with being in this position. If so, lift your hips and shift the weight back. And it's essentially a tricep press, to be honest with you. But from a Pilates perspective, this feels really good to open your chest without doing another extension exercise. Okay, so you'll notice I'm not moving my butt up and down. It's my bend and stretch of my elbows. I'm keeping my toes lifted to hold myself accountable for keeping the weight in my hands. A little tip, if you're tighter through your shoulders and you're finding they're really rounding forward, you can also try this with your palms facing outwards, never backwards. Sit yourself down, straighten your legs, sit yourself up on something for saw if you need. Hands behind head, you're twisting, then bending your elbow towards your thigh, rolling back up and return to center. Continuously pull upwards with your hands. You can also place your hands in front of your forehead if your shoulders are too tight to have your hands behind your head. Maybe you say to yourself, yeah, I can do it, but are you able to achieve a long spine? The more length we get in rotation, the better. Okay, pelvis doesn't get to twist or change shape. Last time, come to center, lower yourself down. All right, guys. So find a standing position with your legs wide, reach your arms up and hook your thumbs. You can't see it, but I'm hooking my thumbs and pulling them apart. Then create length through your whole body, through your waist, through your spine. Side bend up and over towards the side. Return center, up and over to the left. When we side bend, we don't want to collapse into the side that we're bending towards. Think about lifting that rib cage up and over, return to center, up and over. If you have good grip with your feet, press the outer blades of the feet down and outwards into the mat. Pull your tail between your legs to create extra length. Come to center and lower your arms down. Thanks for watching, guys. This is a great workout to share with anyone that is new to Pilates or grippy through their hip flexors, perhaps can't do a round lower back variation. If you have any questions, never hesitate to ask. I'm here to help, to coach if you need, and have a lovely Sunday.